Hey, Thomas from Field Tennis. In today's video we're going to be talking about watching the ball, or better said, paying attention to the ball. When we coaches ask players to watch the ball, we are typically referring to this last part of the stroke when players are hitting the ball, but they tend to be looking forward already. They're not looking in this area where they're hitting the ball. So we're not asking them to watch the ball like Roger Federer, completely fixated on the ball and really seeing it at the last moment. It would be good that that at least your head is pointed in the right direction when you're making the shot and not being there. Now the problem between coaches and players, there's a bit of miscommunication because the coaches are telling players watch the ball, and the players know they're watching the ball because otherwise they wouldn't be able to play tennis. They're just not paying attention to it. So in today's video, we're going to focus on teaching the player how to pay better attention to the ball, how to better focus on the ball. And when you better focus on the ball, you're going to read the ball much better when it's coming from the other side, and you're going to hit it much cleaner here in this part of the stroke when you're actually hitting the ball. The first problem in not paying attention to the ball is obvious to everyone. It's because when players are hitting the ball, they're looking forward, and that's quite obvious. But there's another problem of not paying attention to the ball, and the consequence that you might see is players preparing the racket late. So that's probably another most common instruction on planet Earth, which is prepare early. And we have to figure out why are the players preparing late, and why is basically almost everyone preparing late. And the reason is because they're not paying attention to the ball on the other side. So in today's video I will use phrases first flight and second flight. And by this I mean flight of the ball. First flight is flight of the ball before the bounce, and second flight is flight after the bounce. So that we're on the same page, that we use the same vocabulary. And so players fail to focus on the ball in both flights. In the first ball flight, they're not paying attention to the ball, they just see it, but they don't pay attention to it. And because they don't pay attention to it, they don't get into the rhythm with the ball, and they don't read the ball, so they don't read the spin of the ball, they don't read the speed of the ball, so they're just kind of waiting for the ball to come closer, and then they start playing. Whereas a skilled player gets about 90% of the information from the first ball flight, and their stroke is completely programmed, like 90% programmed, just based on the first flight. Because based on the first flight, our brain can predict the bounce of the second flight, and that makes it much easier to time the ball. If you're not doing that, you're going to be stuck at 3-0, 3-5 level forever, because there's no way you can play with 4-0, 4-5 or 5-0 players and not being able to read the ball really well in the first flight. So that's the first problem. And the second problem is, like I mentioned, from the second flight, players don't pay attention to the ball, and that causes mishits off the center and mistimed shots. And so today I want to show you various exercises on how to focus on the ball. I'll have my assistant Kaya helping me out again. And these will be very practical drills. And the way they work, to give you another idea why are you not paying attention to the ball, is because your mind is not occupied with it. So when you become higher level player, the mind automatically becomes occupied with the ball, and we have 100% focus on the ball because the ball is telling me everything from its flight, and I need to read it. So I'm very, very focused on the ball flight already, first ball flight, because the ball is telling me everything. But when you're not used to it, then this ball is telling you nothing and you're not paying attention to it. So the way you learn to pay attention to the ball is that you have to give your mind certain tasks at first, so that you occupy your mind, that it kind of becomes curious and intrigued on, okay, what do I need to observe on the ball? And when you give your mind certain tasks yourself, you give certain tasks in terms of observing the ball flight, then you're going to experience complete 100% focus on the ball, and then in time you will also start to feel the advantages, the benefits of doing that, and eventually this is going to become automatic for you. Hey guys, just a quick jump into my office. So as I was editing this video, it turned out pretty long, it's 30 minutes. So it's not convenient for you to go on YouTube when you're on the court and scrub through this video and try to remember the drills, since there are 15 drills in this video. So what I did eventually is I created a PDF for you to download. So as you can see, it's formatted for a smartphone and it contains all the 15 drills. And with each drill you have a short description and just a little image to remind you where to focus on the ball, whether it's on the bounce or in the air, or whether you should observe the spin and so on. So all the drills are included in this PDF. You will find the link in the description below. Just click on the link and you will end up on a page where you can enter your email and you will be able to get this PDF, so that it's very easy for you to find the right drill or remember what drill to use next time, so that you have some variation when you practice watching the ball. All right, back to the video. So first exercise we're going to do is to learn to focus the ball. So not focus on the ball, but focus the ball, because when the ball flies, we lose a bit of the clarity, of crispness of how we see the ball, especially on the bounce, because the ball very abruptly changes direction. So if I do like this, then down there, maybe on the camera it's still sharp, but with our eye we cannot see very clearly the ball down there. But as it comes out of the bounce, I try to see it very clearly. So first you can take a look at the ball like this. You can see the lettering, the seams, the fuzz, and you say, okay, I see the ball very clearly. And then what you try to do is to get the ball into focus as it comes out of the bounce. So here, okay, I see it. Okay, I see it. So the first exercise we're going to do with Kaya is that we just play mini tennis. We're going to do basically most exercises mini tennis, so that you can look over my shoulder. That's why the camera is here, so you can kind of try and see how I see. So I'm trying to see the ball as it comes from the bounce and is coming out towards me. I want to see this ball into focus, at least for one moment, right? For one brief moment, I'm trying to see this ball in focus. And when I coach players, so what I recommend that you do is I ask them to say yes if they got the ball into focus, so that they're really committed and really paying attention to the ball. So of course I'm used to that, but I can say like, okay, yes, I see the ball. I saw the ball clearly. Yes, I saw the ball clearly. Yes, I can see the ball in focus. So I'm going to run through these exercises quite quickly, but keep in mind that you should do one exercise for maybe about 2 to 3 minutes, and then you can move on to another one, or just have a large variety of exercises so that it doesn't become boring. Because when something becomes boring to your mind, then it stops paying attention. So we have to have a variety of exercises that are basically accomplishing the same task, but they're different, in order to keep it interesting. Especially when you work with children, they get bored very quickly and you need to give them different exercises, but the goal is the same, right? So the first objective was do I see the ball in focus after the bounce? The second objective is, do I see the ball in focus when Kaya hits the ball, so roughly around the top of the ball's flight. So around there, when the ball comes on the top of its flight, or it's just around the net, I want to see, do I see the ball clearly on the other side? So is it in focus? So I would say, yes, I see it in focus. How about this one? Yes, I see it in focus. Okay, that second exercise, again, spend 1 or 2 or 3 minutes on that. Do you see the ball in focus? Of course, mix up the shots. Right now we're just doing mostly forehand because camera is here and you can see like roughly how I see, but normally if we play a bit forehand backhand, Kaya, because that changes a little bit your attention. Okay, how do I see the ball on the backhand, how do I see on the forehand, and so on. So again, your focus is gonna wander a little bit and you have to bring it back to the ball. That's why it's important to confirm with yes or no, right? So if I go back, yes, I saw the ball. Yes, I saw the ball clearly. Yes, I saw the ball. The next exercise is to see if you can see the ball in focus in both cases. So in the first flight, around the top of the first flight, so before the bounce, and after the bounce in the second flight, do you see the ball in focus? So yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes, yes. So as you will see, this requires higher level of concentration. You have to completely become immersed in the ball, and of course do not ever think about technique when you do drills like that. Your maximum concentration is just on paying attention to the ball. The next series of tasks help you pay attention to the ball better and also improve your rhythm, because we're going to be looking at certain times of the ball flight. So the first one is hit. So when Kaya hits the ball, I need to say hit. So hit, hit. Now one mistake that players do here when we give them this task is that they observe the hit first, they see it, and then they call it out. So there's a time difference between the sound of Kaya's racket hitting the ball and the sound of the voice of the player, right? So when they do it wrong, it's something like this, hit. So I'm observing to see the hit. Okay, I saw the hit, then I call it out. That's not what we want. Your mind needs to anticipate the hit to the 100th of a second. And so you have to call out exactly the hit when the hit happens. Exactly, I try to anticipate hit, so that when the player is calling out hit, they should basically not hear the bounce hit. I mean not hear the contact hit of the coach's racket, because they hear only themselves hit, hit. Again, all these drills should be done for 1, 2, 3 minutes. Practice both sides, left side, forehand, backhand, slice, and so on. Now we add to the hit exercise, to the hit component, we add top. This is another thing that I found out in my work with, especially with recreational players, that they don't observe the first flight really well, and one way to kind of make them pay attention to the first ball flight so that they prepare earlier and they better read the ball is to ask them to call out the top of the ball flight. So right now I'm just going to call out the top a few times, and then I'm going to combine with the hit. Top, top, top. So right now we're demonstrating these drills on mini tennis because it goes much slower. We have much better ball control. I can keep the camera here, like kind of looking over my shoulder. You have a very good view, but of course all these drills should be done on the baseline, and especially this one, calling out the top, is very important to do on the baseline, because first of all there's more time, and second of all, ball judgment is much more important when the ball travels faster and longer distance. And so calling out the top is very, very important skill to learn when players don't do that yet. So now I can combine hit and top, hit, top, hit, top. So you can see it goes quite quickly on mini tennis. That's why this one is good to do on the baseline. So if I go hit, top, hit, top. The next exercise, to add the bounce. So first of all, you can just call out the bounce, bounce, Again, do not observe the bounce and wait for the bounce to happen and then kind of recognize it and call it. You have to anticipate it so that it's bounce. So it's exactly the same time as the bounce, exactly as the ball hits the ground. Bounce. If you have read Timothy Gallwey's book, Inner Game of Tennis, this is one of his famous exercises that he came up with in 1974. And these exercises are still very, very important, especially for recreational players who don't have good rhythm with the ball and they don't pay good attention to the ball. So the famous Tim Gallwey exercise is bounce hit. This works this way, bounce hit. So you're calling your own hit, bounce hit. You're calling this combination bounce hit, bounce hit. And then you can use your creativity and expand this exercise or move it around a little bit, so you can do hit, bounce. So I can call Kai as hit, hit, bounce, hit, bounce, hit, bounce, and I can add my own bounce. So I will call out all three: hit, bounce, hit, hit, bounce, hit, hit, bounce, hit. So when you do these exercises with the player, especially recreational adult player, and you give them these attention exercises on the ball, you will see in 5 seconds that they're off. They're off in all of the times of the bounces, so bounce or hit, or they're off in one of them. Many times they're off on their own hit because it so stresses them out to hit the ball. Their mind is not calm to basically just call out when the contact happens. And so that's why you have to do these exercises, because if you do this exercise to a skilled player, 4-5, 5-0 and higher, they will do them like this exactly to the split second every time right, even if they've never done this exercise. The moment you ask them, tell me the moments of contact, they are laser accurate. They know exactly when to call out the shot, and when you ask players 3-0 to call out the shots, they are way off, and they have to practice that. And that is one of the main differences between lower level and higher level players, is the attention to the ball, rhythm and timing. The next set of exercises focuses on observing the spin of the ball. So the first exercise is, the first task you give to the player is asking them, do you see this ball spinning after the bounce on their side? So after the ball hits, like, now do you see the ball spinning? So they just say yes or no. Yes, I see the ball spinning. Yes, I see the ball spinning. I see the ball spinning. So obviously they will have to bring the ball into focus. So this is another type of exercises, like I mentioned in the beginning. We need to give the mind a certain task, something interesting to observe. Then it becomes very focused, because just to see the ball and hit it with this racket, playing mini tennis, is not very difficult. Even if you're 3-0 player, you're just kind of tapping the ball and you're like, you will never gonna miss it. So the mind kind of says, I really don't need to pay more attention to the ball just to play tennis, which is true. But to play tennis well, you do need to pay more attention to the ball, because you need to hit the ball in the sweet spot and in the right contact point, and that is not easy. You need maximum attention to the ball to be able to do it. And so that's why we start with, do you see the ball spinning? Okay, I see the ball spinning. Yes, so after the bounce. Second task, you ask the player, do you see the ball spinning on the other side? So in ball flight number 1, do you see the ball spinning? So let's start with that. Yes, I see the ball spinning. Yes, I see the ball spinning. Yes. And then you ask, so if I'm the coach, I will start varying the spinning. Right now I'm demonstrating like a player, so Kaya is the coach. So Kaya, can you vary the spins a little bit? Sometimes give me a slice, Sometimes you give me top spin. Sometimes you can kind of try and hit a little bit flat. And so then the player has to call out what kind of spin do they see. So they would say backspin. I see backspin. I see top spin. And the sooner they can tell, the better. I see backspin. I see basically no spin, so very flat. Yeah, very flat. I can see the ball side spinning. Okay, I see backspin. Okay, so that's the next exercise. Then we combine the exercises. We ask the player, call out the spin rotation, so direction, is it backspin or flat or any other type of spin, forward, flat, backspin, and what do you see here after the bounce? So I have to call out both. So again, you can mix up, Kaya. So top spin, top spin. I see backspin, top spin. I see backspin, top spin. I see flat, top spin. Flat, top spin. Again, player should do that for 2 or 3 minutes in order to really get the exercise. The next question you can ask the player is to compare the rates of spinning. So at first they can just start with simple kind of slow and fast. So when Kaya hits the ball, I want to read, okay, fast, fast. Top spin, fast, fast. Top spin, slow, fast. Very fast, fast. You can give me like a flatter ball, Kaya. So I would say flat, top spin, fast. Very slow top spin, or basically no top spin, a little bit faster, and so on. So ask the player to give you the rate of spinning. Is it spinning fast or not very fast? You start with 2, just slow and fast, and later you can ask them to give you 3, so like slow, moderate, and fast spin. And again, we are giving the mind some task, something to look at, so that it becomes really completely occupied on the ball, completely immersed in the ball, and that is your maximum focus on the ball. And again, over time, or maybe very quickly, you're going to see the benefits of doing that in terms of your rhythm, timing, and hitting the ball cleanly. I have one quick question for you now that you've seen the drill where I'm asking the player to read the spin of the ball. Is it spinning forward or backward, and so on. So we're asking the player, what's the direction of the spin after the bounce? So here's my half-trick question of the day for you. Is the ball always spinning forward after the bounce, regardless of how it was spinning to the bounce? So whether it was hit with slice, flat, or top spin. So obviously from top spin, for sure it's going to be top spin. But the question is, does the ball always spin forward with top spin, even though it was hit with backspin? Let me know what you think in the comments. When it's a sunny day like today, you can ask the player which side of the ball is sunny and which one is shady. So right now I'm just holding it so that you can kind of observe. The sun is that way. So okay, this one's sunny, this one's shady. So when you play mini tennis, you ask the player which part of the ball is sunny, which part of the ball is shady. And again, they have to kind of really look at the ball and focus completely to see that. And again, you can ask them if they see that in the first ball flight and then in the second ball flight. So yes, I see here, especially second ball flight. Yes, I see in this part. Yes, I can see where the ball is sunny and where there's a shade on the ball. So I recommend that you play a little bit three-quarter tennis before moving to the baseline, because once you go to the baseline, the ball starts flying really fast, and if the player has too much trouble judging the ball and moving around, they will not be able to completely focus on the task that we give them. So the tasks are now known to you. See the ball spinning, focus, do you see the ball in focus, and everything else that I've shared. So right now I just want to show you how that looks like. I'm around three-quarter distance in the court, so the rallies are still very controlled and slow. And I'm doing the same exercises. For example, can I bring the ball into focus after the bounce? You ask yourself, do you see the ball in focus? Yes, I see the ball in focus. Then you can ask yourself, do you see the ball spinning? So of course all exercises that I mentioned on mini tennis you practice here. It's just that the rallies are slow, you have more time, you're more calm. It's not going too fast, it's more calm. And you can focus on the ball better. So I can already start the exercise of calling the top because there's a bit more time. So like, okay, top. When is the ball at the top? Top. And you can combine, so I will call top, focus. Top, focus. Yeah. Okay. So just like a quick little demonstration, what I mean by three-quarter tennis is still quite calm and you can focus on the ball. Play here 2-3 minutes and then move back to the baseline. And finally, move to the baseline and work on all exactly the same exercises that I showed you on mini tennis. So I would always start first with seeing the ball after the bounce. Do you see the ball in focus, right? So do you see the ball in focus? You can do like this if you kind of forget what that means. Okay, I see the ball. Now when I rally, do I see the ball like that? Here we go, tricky one. One more. So do I see the ball? Yes, I see the ball. Do I see the ball? Yes, I see the ball. Yes, I see the ball, no matter how tricky it is. Yes, I see the ball. Yes, I see the ball. When you become a bit more skilled, you can try and check with yourself if you can see the ball longer, because at first you will perceive that like a snapshot, like you have a phone and you just kind of click at the ball once, and like in your memory you have that one clear picture of the ball before you hit it. Then try to expand it, so either visualize that you did 2, 3, 4, 5 snapshots, something like that. Okay, I remember seeing the ball multiple times. Or if your mind works more like in a video, then see if you can remember after the shot, did you see the ball spinning and traveling through space after the bounce very clearly for a while? So that should be like your ultimate goal, that after the bounce you see the ball clearly for a while traveling, either like in snapshots or like very fluid, very smoothly. Here we go, Kaya. So this one was a tricky bounce, so let's see. Yes, so this one I would say I saw the ball. Yeah, this one is at least 3 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost 5 times. 3, 4 times. 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 times. So that's how I kind of see the ball. Because if after the shot I go in my memory, like after I've hit the ball and I stop, I remember like 3 positions of the ball if it was not spinning too fast and I could see the lettering. I can remember like lettering facing me, then I don't see the lettering, then maybe I see like something like this on the top or something. I can kind of distinctly remember a couple of images of the ball. And that's your ultimate goal, that you have such attention to the ball that you have very clear memory of how it looked like before you hit it, or that you have like multiple images in your mind. Then you apply the same to the first ball flight, so before the bounce. That one is of course longer, and you ask yourself, how long do I see the ball very clearly? So obviously you can't see it super clearly when your partner hits it, because it changes direction very abruptly, and then you try to bring the ball into focus and you try to stay with the ball as long as possible. Now when the ball bounces, let's say it bounces here. When the ball bounces, it's going to change direction very quickly, and we don't see the ball very clearly here, and you can have a big problem with timing on ball judgment if you're really trying to see the bounce, if you're kind of focusing on seeing the bounce, because your eyes will be pointed this way. Your eyes will be pointed this way, and the ball is going to come out of the bounce very abruptly, very quickly, and you're going to lose it because you're looking this way and the ball is this way. And then you're going to spend time trying to find the ball in space, and of course that's not good for your timing. So you must not look at the bounce in a very focused manner. I call it soft focus. I kind of see the bounce, but I don't try to focus on it. I'm trying to focus on the ball coming out of the bounce. So by now my eyes are trained, and they immediately pick up the ball coming out of the bounce so that I can see it as long as possible in focus. So I want to see the ball in focus very, very clearly as early as possible. After Kaya hits it all the flight, then here's a little bit blurry area. So I want to see the ball very long, maybe up to somewhere here. Then there's a little blurry area, and then I want to get it into focus as soon as I can. So you're asking yourself, how long can I keep the ball in very clear focus, starting from the other side and then on this side. So I'm gonna just call out yes, 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 as long as I see the ball very clearly. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes. Next one. Yes, 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 yes. I see, I see, I see, I see, I see, I see. So it goes something like this. I see, I see, I see, I see, I see, I see. So you can see there's a little pause. There's a little pause when the ball bounces. It's changing direction. I'm trying to catch it as it's coming out. Then when it comes out, I lock into it and I don't let it go. I want to focus completely on the ball, because if I do, I will get very precise hit. Precise hit means in two ways. One is space, which means in space, left, right. I hit it in the sweet spot, so I don't hit it like this on the racket. So that is spatial precision. And the other one is time precision, so that I don't hit it too late, I don't hit it too early, so I hit it right on time where it's optimal for my technique, for my grip and so on, and for the stroke that you're playing, right? So I need time precision and I need space precision. And you only get that when you have really, really clear maximum focus on the ball and you see the ball really, really clearly after the bounce. Then your brain can make small adjustments of your stroke and find the sweet spot and find the right timing. So in conclusion, one of the skills that is the key to progressing to higher levels, something that separates 3-0 from 5-0 players, is the ability to focus on the ball, pay attention to the ball, seeing the ball clearly, getting into the rhythm of the ball, and of course all that helps you with hitting the ball cleanly and on time in front of you. And I think this is one of the most important skills in tennis, and it's being neglected in our practices, in our training. There's too much emphasis on technique and where the elbow goes and so on. And yet our technique has to adjust to many different ways when we play matches. We cannot just, learn one forehand and it's going to work. And so what helps our technique adjust in various ways to different balls is seeing the ball really clearly, telling our brain through the eyes where exactly is the ball in space, so that our brain can control our body parts and bring the racket very accurately to the ball when we play tennis. And that's how we're going to have good ball control and good power. So I invite you to include these drills in your practice sessions. You can do that always, even just in short court mini tennis. If you play it for a couple of minutes, always do that and see how your ball perception, timing, rhythm, and so on change in about 1 month's time. So I cannot promise improvements in 5 minutes. Such things don't exist, but give it a month and really be kind of disciplined to do this every time for a few minutes on the mini tennis and for a few minutes on the baseline. Even if you forget then for the whole lesson, you're going to work on something else. Maybe you play a match, obviously don't think about it. If you work on technique, okay, work on your technique, focus on that, but spend one part of the session doing the drills that I showed you in this lesson. Give it a month and let us know how it worked for you. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.